Alright guys, so I'm going to be doing a review of Black Panther Reign at Dusk. This is another book from the Marvel Hall that Chris sent me. Thank you once again, brother. And yeah, so this is written by Eve Ewing. I can't remember if she's the sister or the wife of Al Ewing. I can't remember. And I know that's such a stupid thing to say. But yeah. So this basically picks up from the Black Panther series that John Ridley had done, which there were things I liked about it and things I didn't like about it, and that's just not it's not just John Ridley's run. I think he did some cool introspective on Black Panther that needed to be said about T'Challa's character that I don't think a lot of people were talking about. But the stuff with like Wakanda itself and some other things in this book, it just made me go, it just made me go, oi. And it's not because, like, you're a white guy who's trying to read a black character, and it wasn't like that. It was more like, and this is more on Marvel than I think anything else, is that the problem with what they've been doing with Wakanda and Black Panther comics in general is that they've gone out of their way to try to make make Wakanda like every other nation, when I'm like, that's not the point of Wakanda. The whole point of Wakanda is that it's a nation that has achieved a great society. And yes, while like there are some flaws to it, it isn't like damned by its flaws. Like they aren't, they don't fall into the same vices as other nations, because they've learned to they've learned not to just depend on vibranium, but to like depend on each other in this, tight community. And I feel like they just want, like, every writer wants to just like, oh no, Wakanda's like no different from every other nation. I'm like, then you've missed the point of the book. You've missed the point of Black Panther in general. I think the ones that did it best were, I think Ta-Nehisi Coates did a great job on talking about that, and also doing like a whole, like when he did Nation Under Our Feet, he really did a good job on, talking about like outside forces influencing Wakanda, as well as like inside forces changing as well. And he did a great job of balancing that. I think Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther was really good. Of course, you can't deny like Reginald Hudlin or Christopher Priest's runs as well. Yeah, so there are great Black Panther runs, but John Ridley's run, and again, I do think that Ridley's run really talked about some stuff with Black Panther that needed to be talked about his character, like being overly paranoid, not being trustworthy of anybody, and thinking that because he has a title, it gives him, all access to hurt people regardless. And I think that was kind of the thing. But so at the end of John Ridley's run, T'Challa is now banished from Wakanda, and the Black Panther title is no longer around. But the thing is, T'Challa's like, I don't accept that. So he's now living in a district of Wakanda that that he is keeping low tabs on. Like, he's just keeping kind of low tabs on everything. First off, I really like the costume. I really dig the new costume. It's it's a costume T'Challa would put, like, piecemeal together if he didn't have the access to his tech and whatever. And it's a costume that really represents that kind of... I understand, like, they took a lot from some tribes, I think, like Zulu and a few others for this costume. And it does look it's pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty solid costume. So yeah, so T'Challa is now living in a district, is like hiding out in a district of Wakanda that is actually named after his father. And he's basically, I'm not even gonna mince words, it's Batman. It's just Batman. And that's the problem. And here, that's kind of the biggest problem with this book, is that it's just Batman. As I was reading this comic, like, they even have a Catwoman character for him now. And they don't hide it either, that she's a thief, she's cat-themed. I'm like, why? There's also, like, mafias in this area of Wakanda. I'm like, what? Again, we're missing the point of Wakanda here. And it is a cool story of having, like, these people, like, this gang does, like, reprogram Deathlock Because when you need a mechanical assassin, you just get Deathlock in Marvel. That's been kind of a running thing since 2010. But yeah, I do like the introspective stuff on T'Challa, in that he's trying to, like, rebuild himself, and also, like, I've kind of rekindled with the Avengers in the Jed McKay run. He's rekindled things with the Avengers, but, like, on a whole, like, Wakanda feels like it doesn't need me anymore, but I can't quit being its defender. Like, they almost treat it like an addiction in a way. I also will say that the artwork in here is pretty good. It actually reminds me a lot of the Marvel Knights run of Black Panther, actually. Like, let me give you a perfect example. Like, yeah. Like, it's very, like, it reminds me a lot of the Christopher Priest Black Panther run. But yeah. There's also some great callbacks to other characters in here from other runs, which I really do appreciate. But as it stands, it's just kind of like I'm reading Batman. Like, that's kind of the problem with this book, is that I'm just reading Batman in a different city. And you could argue that they've done this before. There was Black Panther Man Without Fear, where T'Challa wasn't king, and he was taking over for Matt for a short time in Hell's Kitchen for a hot minute, which was actually, like, a run I've read a little of. I'd love to read the complete series. I'd love to have the complete series of that. But that one was handled better because, like, T'Challa was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm going to do my best here. But this, it feels a lot like Batman. Like, he gets an Alfred. He gets T'Challa gets, like, his own Alfred, his own Catwoman, his own Lucius Fox. And they are characters, like, from some of them from established runs. But, like, yeah, it just feels too much like a Batman book to, like, it's really dragging me out of it. And again, it goes back to what I said originally of, like, this is, like, the whole thing of Wakanda is that it's meant to be the epitome of human evolution and human society, and it really bothers me that they just don't do that. Anyway, so yeah, yeah, it's all in all, it was all right. Sorry, Chris. I know you always appreciate honesty, but yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below if you've read this comic. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.